All right, we're back again with a very special guest this time. A friend of ours, someone who's helped us a lot along our journey with offering outbound services to our clients, and someone who's played a huge role in making the outbound world a little bit better for everybody. But Felipe Aranguiz, I hope I pronounced that right. I think of Felipe as a Swiss Army knife. Technically, his title is Director of Business Development and Partnerships, but he does a whole lot more than that. But Felipe, it's great to have you on, man.
Yeah, likewise. Thank you so much. You're too kind. And it's mutual. We wouldn't be where we are if it wasn't for people like yourself. You're always sharing great feedback for our product to become better and also to the community on how to do things better. So, on behalf of the Instantly community, I wanted to thank you for that.
Thank you. It means a lot. We put a ton of effort into our content and everything that we do to drive value for our audience, our customers, and more importantly, also just people who want to do what we do. So it means a lot, honestly, coming from you.
Yes.
But with that said, and for anyone who doesn't know, Instantly is an email sequencing tool at its core, but it actually does a lot more than that too. I mean, they do website de-anonymization. They have their own version of a CRM at this point. It's an email warm up tool. It really does quite a bit. But Felipe, I don't know, maybe it makes sense for you to give a quick 30-second summary of Instantly, the origin, and what it is you guys do for your customers.
Yeah, so in a nutshell, Instantly helps you get more replies. We're extremely deliverability oriented. That is something that we're super focused on because at the end of the day, if you just wanted to send emails, it's super easy. Like you just take like an Excel sheet, you mail merge that, and you can do it almost for free, right? So we want to make sure that people land on the inbox and scale that outbound, right? As your team scales or as your volume scales, if you're an agency. And it's kind of funny because like 2 years ago, we started venturing into other products that could be a startup on their own, like each one of them. Like you said, website visitors and like databases. We also have a database product. Like a year ago, we launched email infrastructure so people could just set up email accounts with just 2 clicks inside of the platform. And I remember at the very beginning, like 2 years ago, people were like, oh, you're kind of trying to become a jack of all trades. But it's kind of funny because for us, the goal is not just sending emails. It's again, making sure people get replies. And how do you achieve that? Well, it's by having good data, by having the best email verifier possible, the best email infrastructure possible, and the best API possible, and so on and so on. So it's a combination of things because, well, you guys know this better than I do, but email deliverability is very complex. And sometimes when you have so many factors just flying around where you're not sure if like each one of them is going to be the best, it just becomes harder. So what we're trying to do is just trying to simplify the whole deliverability process as much as possible so people can just get more replies. So that's in a nutshell, like how we build and who we are. Now, when it comes to how we started 3 years ago, so we are quite young.
That's crazy. That's crazy
Yeah,
when I think about it, that you guys are only a 3-year-old company because there are so many users. I think you guys are a lot bigger than most people think, and most people have no clue how big Instantly actually is.
we
Um, but
we
yeah,
are yeah
that's crazy.
we are so focused on building that we just whenever we see hype out there, we just like remind ourselves our focus is on just building the best possible product, period. And that is where our entire focus is. Of course, we do marketing and everything, but and this is from the very beginning. Like if you have a really good product, people are going to stick. And that it's very simple, right? If you just build something awesome, like hype can last just certain period of time, but like a proper solid product will stick and people will recommend it. So that's why we're constantly innovating. We notice. So I used to have a lead generation agency actually. So I've been doing lead gen for 10 years and I tried every single product in the market. And I actually used to be one of Instantly's first customers, right? And when at the beginning, the product wasn't good at all. Like I gotta be very honest. When I first tried Instantly, I was like, wow, this is terrible.
I have a story to tell you about that too, actually, before I
Okay,
even continue. So
go
the
on, go
very
on.
first tool, when we first started offering GTM engineering or outbound to our clients that we used, was Instantly. And we had an experience where it was okay. right? It
Yeah.
was okay. I'm just going to say how it was. It was okay at the
Yeah.
time. But it wasn't anything that was locking me into signing a year-long contract or anything
Yeah.
like that. Ollie and I actually went back and forth for, I don't know, maybe a month, trying all these different sequencers. I mean, we tried Smart Lead, Sales Handy,
Yeah.
Apollo, Instantly. I want to say there was like 3 or 4 other ones that we tried too.
Yeah.
We did a free trial with all of them. Instantly, in my mind at the time, was the second best option, and at the
Yeah.
time, it was another one of these companies.
Yeah.
So we stopped using Instantly for a while. As you know, we came back with a vengeance, and now we have a lot of clients on Instantly, and we're a very big user. But I've seen the evolution of the product, and it is
Yeah.
crazy how amazing the product has become. But sorry, I
Yeah.
didn't mean to cut you off. But
No,
just saying,
please.
yeah, yeah,
I mean, I totally get you. Like when I used to be a customer, I had the same feeling, right?
yeah,
But I saw one thing that was different from everything I've seen over the past 10 years, which is the ability to overcome adversity. And I'm a hard believer on stoicism, and I'm just becoming a better version of yourself. So whenever I meet someone that has this sort of mindset, or a product or anything, I'm like, okay, I need to be closer to this person or these people or this product, right? So that's what happened. I started sharing feedback with these guys, and the CTO of Instantly himself started replying and implementing stuff so quickly that it was just mind blowing. Like I was using another product on my agency before, and I kid you not, like I shared like 20 feature suggestions based on actual, campaigns, right? That you could use on a daily basis and improve the experience for all of your customers. Not a single one of them was implemented over a period of a year. And I noticed a trend where every 2 to 3 years you have a new tool that kind of takes the crown. So you have like a new tool that everyone is like hyping up and it's like everyone is using, and then after 2 or 3 years a new tool comes and everyone switches. So it's like agencies and lead gen teams are always switching tools. And I was like, why does that happen? And I realized it's because companies stop innovating. Like they just get comfortable, right? They start making a few millions and they just get comfortable. But when I met the Instantly guys, their mindset was like, we don't want to be that. We just want to be the number one possible for as long as possible, and we want to keep innovating. And I after 3 years, well, 2 years here being part of the 1 year as a client, the mindset hasn't changed a tiny bit, like a tiny bit. Like I'm not gonna lie, like the night before yesterday, I went to sleep at 4 a.m. And it's not because anyone is forcing me to, but it's everyone works so hard here that it's just contagious. Everyone is just trying to deliver on time, trying to just give the best possible product to people, that it's very contagious, right? And I woke up later, by the way. It's not like someone is forcing me to go to sleep, but it's just like you want to get stuff done, right? So long story short, when I met these guys, right, they started implementing stuff so quickly that then we kind of negotiated something, and they were like, hey, why don't you join the team? We're growing. We were like, just I could count the team with one hand, and it was the best decision ever. I always wanted to build something that I will use, but that will change the space. Because once again, I haven't seen a single tool that has lasted more than 2 or 3 years, delivering or being at the top. And we hope we can be that tool. We are not satisfied yet. I think we always try to stay humble, because once you start, being a little bit like, once your ego starts driving you, like, I don't think that's a good thing. So yeah, that's a little bit of backstory on Instantly / myself here. So
yeah, and I can attest to everything you just said, because Ollie and I have both been on a call with one of the founders where I was kind of shocked, because I don't know the exact numbers of Instantly, but I know you guys are a lot bigger than most people think you are.
yeah,
Right. And when
yeah,
he
that's
jumped on a call with us directly, and he was having the conversation with us, and it was Rayo, but you see Rayo and he looks just like a normal guy. He's humble. He speaks to you like he's on the same level as you, but in
yeah,
reality, we know where he is. And I mean, I can attest the culture there is just everyone's humble, everyone has their head down, everyone's working, and it goes all the way down to support. I mean, Talha on your team, wow, that guy is unbelievable at his job. Every
yeah,
question we ever ask, that premium level of support that we receive, that's one of the reasons we love Instantly so much, and we've been
yeah.
growing with you guys as much as we have recently.
Yeah, no, really appreciate it. Like, yeah, everyone is like super humble. Like, for me, it's crazy when I meet the instantly founders. I meet them often. We do like work trips and stuff. Um, like recently we met like with the team in Dubai. It was awesome. We were brainstorming and everything, very high level. Um, and man, like the founders of Instantly, they wear like $10-20 shirts, like black shirts, and just keep it simple. Like they don't want to like show like anything. Like they just keep so like they're so focused on the product and on just building that it's just crazy. They don't let the ego take over. Like they will never brag about it. Like they will never like it's and that I think that kind of spreads towards the rest of the company. Like everyone is just like, we don't hire managers. It's kind of like when you hear Steve Jobs saying like, there are some companies that they will hire managers, but they don't know how to do anything. So thankfully we haven't fallen into that. And at the end of the day, we end up promoting people that, they're so good at what they do that they realize at some point that no one else will be able to be a manager. So they kind of like, it's not like they're after power or like, growing their brand or anything. It's just like someone has to get it done, and so they take the responsibility of being a manager. And we have some amazing people like Maria here, Ollie like on support, Dan on development. They usually, they don't go, they're not so mentioned on the public. Again, it goes because it's because of ego. Like they don't need to. But they're just amazing. Like, and that's just the whole company culture. Like everyone is so focused on just doing something great that it's crazy.
Yeah, it seems like you guys just have a culture of great people and great talent. How do you guys go about acquiring that talent? I mean, is it mostly people? I would imagine a lot of people want to work for Instantly. You guys are on a rocket ship. And like you said, the features keep coming. The support is still amazing. You guys feel way smaller than you are. How do you go about hiring and breeding that culture within the company?
Yeah, I mean, that's a good question. Like hiring is never easy. Like the ratio, and it's crazy, but the ratio of developers we interview just to hire a developer is 100-1. So every 100 developers we interview, we only hire one, which kind of passes a toll on our tech lead. Like every time he has to hire, he's like,
It's a lot of interviews.
yeah, and for the account management team, because we have a VIP service, as like where agencies like yourself who need like a more one-on-one experience. And again, this came from when I had an agency too. When I had an agency, I will hate to speak to like the standard support, where the standard support will just ask you, "Have you tried turning on and off your computer?" Blah blah blah.
Exactly.
You want to talk to someone who fully understands what your business does and is well aware that you're very experienced in what you do. If you're reporting a bug, it's because there is a bug, right? You're not just a standard user, like maybe doing things wrong. Like it's very likely there is a bug because you know what you're doing and you're managing several clients. You're crushing it, right? So we realize that there is not such thing in the market. There is not like VIP support, like for the most precious clients. So we built that. And when we have to hire those guys, we interview, I think, like 30 or 40 people for every hire. It's not obviously like a developer. Developer is, it's more technical and everything, but it's the same for almost every role. Like we keep the bar very high. And we like people who can over deliver without micromanagement. We don't want to micromanage people. So it's basically like we tell people the mission. This is the mission you have to achieve. And if at the very beginning we don't see that people independently, without any micromanagement, being able to solve it, unfortunately, they're not a fit. We don't like letting people go. We actually barely let people go. And I think it's because the hiring process is so strict that most of the time we get it right, most of the time. But yeah, it's a very cutthroat culture. In a way that it's not like we're telling people like, hey, we will let you go if you don't work hard enough. But if people don't have the mindset, they are not going to be a good fit. So
That makes sense to me. I think we think about it very similarly. It's like we We don't go through 100 interviews, I would say, to hire, but we do go through a bunch. And
Yeah.
it's one of those things where you need to see initiative. If there's no initiative, it's probably not a good fit. When you're a small
Yeah.
business and you can't just disappear into the shadows and, go off the grid and no one hears from you for 2 weeks and you can keep your job, it
Yeah.
doesn't work. That's not how small businesses grow. Small businesses really need people who take a lot of initiative, are independent, and they really own their work. So yeah, that completely resonates.
Yeah. One thing that I can tell you is that the business could operate on its own without us or the managers, most likely, because people are so committed on just functioning independently that that's kind of a consequence of it, of just a healthy hiring process. And I think what we try to cultivate a lot is to make sure that people are always coming up with initiatives. And they kind of like, so we have one guy in the company who I love. His name is George. And he describes it as, I like to work for a company and take care of the company like if it was my own. So if you're hiring someone that has that mindset, you won. You won the lottery. That's it. You don't need anything else more than that.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. And I feel like we have members of the team who act like that. And I think it really comes down from the top. If you can't set that precedent, if you're not willing to work until 4:30 a.m., like you were saying, like how can you expect an employee to do that? Like, Felipe, if you were doing that, but the founders weren't, like imagine how you were feeling.
Yeah.
So yeah, you really have to set that precedent yourself as a founder.
Oh yeah.
And a leader.
Lead by example.
Yeah. So if I work till 4 a.m., the CTO works till 6 or 7 a.m. He like honestly, in all my previous companies, I was a business owner as well before. I was always overworking everyone else. I always thought like I work the hardest ever, period. But this guy, the CTO, I just cannot beat the guy. It's impossible. So yeah, like you said, like the higher you go at instantly, like the harder those the management works. So yeah, we just set a precedent down. So it's not like we're not pushing people towards like a burn yourself out at all. We will never do that.
No, it's by choice. It sounds like it's not.
It's absolutely by choice.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
and that's what taking complete ownership over your work looks like, right? It's not. I'm feeling pressure from my boss to work till 4 a.m. It's I want to work till 4 a.m. because I want to see this thing succeed the way it should. I want to max out its potential because I know what its potential is and I believe in it and I love the people I work with. That's why company culture is so important. Yeah. And I mean, myself, I used to say this to Ali all the time when we first started this business together. But I honestly was skeptical of how important company culture was because I came from giant corporations like Procter and Gamble, where they push the company culture narrative so much. And there's almost 150,000 employees at that company, right? And so you think about it, and it's like you're like, oh, I'm just a pawn in this giant ship. Company culture is just something they use so they can pay you less money or something like that. And then as a business owner, now I realize that's not what it was at all. Company culture is how you develop bonds with your team. That's how you build a company that actually works, that actually continues to grow. You need people to be happy and you need to love the people you work with. And yeah, it sounds like you guys have that and instantly. And that's why you guys are growing the way you are.
Could always be better though. We're again, like we honestly, we're never happy with the growth that we have with the company culture. It can always be better. Like, I know you meet people and they're like, yeah, we're awesome. Like whenever like we start falling into that trap, we're like, no, we can do better. You can always do better. So
I love that mindset.
Yeah, and I think what's interesting about your story, Felipe, is you also came from like the business owner mentality, like you had a business before, and I think the best marketing leaders and just product builders and all that come from being users of the tool. Bruno Estrella from Clay, he also had a lead gen agency, and obviously he's crushing it. The whole company is crushing it, and so having that end user experience is really important. How do you guys like implement that into your systems? Do you regularly like interview power users of the tool? Like, how do you incorporate like that kind of feedback from power users of the tool into your processes?
Yeah, that's a great question. So it all goes, hand by hand when it comes to these, VIP sort of support service that we set up, right? it's not just meant to give a really good experience for you guys. It's also meant for us to have a better feedback loop. Because we notice one thing in the market, and it is that founder-led companies are awesome, right? They crush it because the founder talks directly to the customers, and they take that feedback and they implement it. And customers, they love that. Who doesn't like to talk directly to the founder, and then the founder will get things fixed? But how do you scale that? That's kind of the challenge. So we were like, okay. So we have 35,000 paying customers, right? So it's a lot. It's not easy. We don't make it public too much. Actually, it could be more, but we want to downplay it a bit. Because I swear to you, like every time we give numbers, like you see like 3 or 5 competitors popping up. They all die though. So whoever's listening trying to copy, like challenge accepted. But yeah. And then gathering all of that feedback, it's not easy because sometimes you want to implement everything, but many times those operators might not be the best at lead generation. So they will make feedback requests feature requests that probably are not aligned with what the power users want, right? So first of all, we isolated the type of clients, right? So that's why we have this VIP service. And out of that, that isolation that we made, we kind of know who are the ones who give the best feedback, period, right? You are one of those, right? Because you're really good at what you do in lead generation. So whoever listening to this and wants to crush it with lead gen, they should definitely work with you guys.
Thank you.
And then we kind of separate the feedback, right? Because when you start growing too fast, you have 2 sort of issues. One of them is you have a rocket ship that just keeps going up, right? And you want the rocket to go faster and to have like better features and to land on its own, like SpaceX and all of that, right? But you also want the rocket to work and be stable, right? So that's kind of the challenge you start having when you grow too fast. Like, when do I focus on just making what I already have, better and more functional, the platform more stable and everything? And when do I innovate? So we innovate. So we try to keep that balance, right? So users don't feel like the product is not good enough, but also like the platform is not innovating. So the other way we build based on feedback is what is impacting the majority of users, right? And I think that's the most important thing. A lot of people, they kind of see hype on LinkedIn and they're like, oh, well, everyone is like talking so much about it and about like, this company that, and then you look at the revenue, you look at the numbers, and probably whatever company raised a lot of money, but they're not profitable yet. So maybe all that hype is just hype, it's not actual revenue. And at the end of the day, the only thing that can keep a company alive consistently is revenue, right? It's not hype. So we just think to ourselves, will we use this feature ourselves, right? So we have in the past built stuff that were a little bit hype driven, and most of the time we end up regretting it. And then we go back at like, no. Let's build stuff that people actually want and that we will use on a daily basis.
Yeah, and you guys have those features, and that's why we switched back over to Instantly, and that's why we continue to grow with Instantly, because you guys focus on the things that actually drive, for us, revenue, right? And for that, what that is results for our clients. How do we get results for our clients? Step 1, deliverability. You need to land in the primary inbox. If you have an email warm-up system that's landing you in spam because you're in a warm-up pool with a bunch of spam inboxes or domains that are being used for all of the wrong reasons, that can actually harm you more than it can help you. So you guys also have a premium warm-up pool. That's been huge for us. You put all of us and all of our clients into the premium warm-up pool. That makes a huge difference for us. And your warm-up pool in general is better than any other that I've seen. But the premium warm-up pool, it's just a nice touch for us because we spend a lot of money with you guys, and you guys offer that as a service to us. The other thing, you guys have ESP matching. You can go Google to Google, you can go Google to Microsoft, you can go Microsoft to Microsoft. You can set your own custom rules based on whatever's working at that given time. You guys have the done for you email infrastructure with domains and inboxes that you can buy directly on instantly. You guys have pre-warmed domains sometimes that you can buy, which we know help with deliverability. You guys are solely focused on the things that are driving revenue for us by driving results for our customers. And you can see, I mean, with some of our clients, we're getting 200 leads a week with some of them by using instantly. And when we were on a different platform before, for that same customer, we might be getting 30 or 40 leads in a week for that customer.
It's awesome.
So it's night and day. I mean, the
Yeah.
difference is night and day. Also, the usability of the platform, right? There's all these different features and functions within some of these sequencers that we've worked with that just don't do anything. They just collect dust, hypothetically, because it's a software product, it can actually collect dust. But you know what I mean? But then when we're in instantly, we're using pretty much every feature that you guys have available to us.
Oh,
So in
that's
some way,
awesome.
shape, or form, whatever the settings are, we're using it and it's helping us. And because
Yeah.
of that, our clients are sticking around longer. They're happier. They also have a better user experience because we set everything up with the agency platform. So we'll create, our own domain. It'll be client.understoryagency.com. It doesn't even show up as instantly. And I think that also goes along with you guys and the humility that you guys have as a company. You don't care about having instantly branded there. You just want to see instantly being used and getting clients results.
Yeah.
And it makes a huge difference. So our clients can log in with a very simple platform. It's branded to them and it makes them feel good. They log in, they can see everything. There's no clutter. It's extremely simple. I've heard you say that you guys are like the Apple of sequencers, and then other sequencers are like the Android. And I can attest, even though I have a Pixel, and so does Ali, we're not iPhone guys, even though I know what you mean, and it does make a huge difference in terms of just usability, simplicity, and the functionality that we need for ourselves and for our clients.
Yeah. No, I agree. Yeah, I also have a Pixel, by the way. Yeah, I also have a Pixel. Everyone else, they have iPhones and
You get left out
Apple
of the group
devices.
chats, just like
Yeah,
us.
yeah, exactly. but no, I think it's because of the simplicity thing. Like that's why I love Pixels as well. So yeah, we just try to keep it very damn simple. Like the way we build is like don't just overcomplicate it. Don't build products that people are not gonna use. Stay away from the fluff. There is a lot of fluff out there. People claiming like they know everything about email data availability and then building stuff that no one understands. They just make it sound very highly technical, so they make people confused. We're like, no. Let's just keep it simple, man. Like, keep it simple. Like, we consistently deliver, but let's just keep it simple. Let's not lie to users at all. There are times where, we have said things that maybe people might not be happy about. Like, for example, we have banned some big email infrastructure providers out of our warm pool, right? And then that generated some backlash. But the reality of it is that was affecting our warm pool. And, nothing personal. I know some people were not happy, but we're just going to do what's best for everyone, right? So stuff like that. Like, sometimes you have to make those tough decisions. Sometimes you see people in the space that are just going to make like some claims or like start like, just spreading fluff and like then people like, yeah, we're building this stuff that is like awesome, blah, blah, blah. And then you start seeing like 2 or 3 other, sequencers building or claiming like they're building the same features. And we know from behind, like, man, they're not building nothing. And that's not going to make any difference. But if you told me, hey, we use X feature and it's making a difference, then we will build it. So unless we have the data that proves it, we're not going to do it. And it was the same with the ESP matching. We heard about the concept of it. We never had data to prove that it works. And once we had the data, mostly because of Outlook, because Outlook was just being like, horrendous, we were like, okay, let's do it, but let's do it even better. So when we build it, we gave you like some flexibility so you can even select
the custom
from who
routing
to who.
rules. Yeah, exactly. It's amazing. So I have a big question for you, Felipe.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously, you guys have grown. You just mentioned you have 35,000 paying customers right now. I'm going to give you a lot of credit because I think you deserve it. But I think you're a massive reason there is 35,000 paying customers right now, and it's due to partnerships. It's due to you being behind the scenes, like that Swiss Army knife, working with agencies like us, some other really big names in the space, and a lot of the ideas and concepts that you put into place. So I want to ask you directly, has it been the blend of sales led, product led, partner led? What's been the number one growth strategy for Instantly to get you guys to where you are? And what would you say to other aspiring software companies that you guys are bootstrapped, correct?
Yeah, we're fully bootstrapped. We have no investors. And that has helped us a lot to grow quickly because we just don't have to report to anyone. Like
Yep.
we've been like pitched so many times. It is crazy. At some point, like we were receiving like dozens of messages from investors. And we had a few calls, but then we realized that they will do more harm than good.
Yeah.
Because see, when you raise money, kind of that glory kind of blinds you, and you think you found product market fit or that you're awesome because you have like a few millions, but in reality, until you are really profitable, you haven't found product market fit, or you know, like basically you're just borrowing money, and you have to give that money back at some point, right? Also about the success of the company, really appreciate it, very kind of you. But like it's in reality, it's really like a team effort. Like there are some people on the back end that are like absolutely amazing. Like everyone at the team here is just so awesome. That is just crazy. But yeah, I also have to give it to the founders here when when they hire me, they have a very good eye for talent. Like they realize, okay, this guy is a lead generation owner, so he knows what he's talking about. So whenever I give product feedback or come with initiatives or ideas, they really listen. So yeah, a lot of those ideas, they have been implemented, and it's just awesome to be in a place where you're actually listened. So I think it also goes back to like, I actually don't like Steve Jobs too much because of he wasn't very nice to his team, but he was a very smart guy. So he will say, let's hire the best people and let them tell us what to do or what to build, and that's pretty much how we embrace things here. So yeah, going back to the investors thingy, we have been approached a lot. And every time we think about it, we're like, no, let's just be fully independent in terms of our decision making, because that way we can just deliver faster. We don't have to, ask for approval to investors, because that, at the end of the day, that's going to slow us down a little bit. Because maybe you will have someone who has no experience in lead generation, or if they do, maybe they're not in the trenches daily. Whereas all of us, one thing we're very proud of is we use Instantly to grow instantly. So we actually send cold emails using our platforms. We love that motto, actually.
I was going to ask you about that. Yeah, I was going to ask you about that.
Yeah. So we're very proud of it. And I send campaigns myself all the time, whether it's for Instantly or for friends or for clients, and that is something we all do. And that's another thing we notice. Like, you will often hear companies like giving recommendations to people, but rarely they actually eat their own food. They rarely use their own product. And that's something I want to encourage more people to do. I think you will only build a better product once you really experience what your customers are going through. And I actually pay for all my subscriptions on Instantly on my own, like with my personal credit card. And I don't tell actually the Instantly owner about it. So if he hears this, please, I really don't want to tell him, because I know he will like refund me everything. But I really like to go through the pain of paying for a subscription. And if I really see value paying for it, then I know it's a good product, right? Because at the end of the day, once you truly understand the whole client journey, and when I mean the whole client journey is from the moment you get the aha moment to the painful moment where you have to pay monthly for something, right? Then you really embrace the product on its own. So yeah, it's a psychological thing that I also recommend to people. Like maybe asking your like don't just ask your friends for feedback. Ask them to swipe their credit card and see if they really will do it. And if they swipe their card and over a period of months they're like, it is worth paying for. You build an awesome product. But until people don't pay for it, you probably don't have a really good product. So yeah.
Definitely. I know it's getting Ollie excited too, because we talk about all the time eating our own dog food.
Yeah, just as an agency, I mean, if let's say you're a brand, you're talking to a prospective agency, and you're asking about their ad campaigns or their emails, and they say they're not running any, like, can you really trust them? So yeah, any of the services we've ever offered, we've done for ourselves first before releasing it to the public, just because it makes sense. Like, I mean, first we have to be experts, but we also have to have proven results. And also, if you don't believe that they're going to work for you, why would you be offering it for your clients?
Exactly.
It's very
Exactly.
important.
Yeah.
I commented on a post yesterday. Eli Rubel, who's another agency owner, he made a post about how Outbound's been working really well to grow his agency. And I commented on it, and this is true, but we've generated $1 million in pipeline last month through Instantly with outbound campaigns for ourselves.
That's crazy.
And it's real, and yeah, I mean, it's one of those things. If you don't believe in it, you shouldn't be offering it to your clients, but it works.
Yeah. No, of course. I mean, and look, and not everything is bad. Like, this is something I also tell people. Like, if someone is not getting good results via cold outbound, you still won. Like, this goes back to like the motto of Instantly, which is just be as efficient as possible, because time is the only thing that you will never be able to purchase. And I want everyone to look at me in the eyes. You will never be able to buy your time back. So if you have time with your family, spend it with your family and your friends and your loved ones, because that's the most important thing, period. So because of that, everything we build is just based on how we can be as efficient as possible, and that reflects on everything else, and that's something we tell other people, and so on and so on. So
Yeah. Not to change subjects too abruptly here, but there is something else that I find fascinating about you guys that I want to ask you about. But there is this character on your YouTube channel. I think his name is Austin Schneider.
Yeah.
Is that right? So Austin, I don't know if he's related to Nils. I don't know if there's anything there, but
they're cousins.
They're cousins.
No,
okay.
they're not. I'm just kidding. We always make that joke. Like,
okay,
yeah, it's just a coincidence.
But I know he's not a founder of Instantly, right?
He's not. He's fully American, and Niels is Swiss. So it's
so what I find fascinating about this is that this guy's been running your YouTube channel for a long time.
Yeah.
But when I first got into this stuff, I used to watch that. Not when I first got into it, but I guess when I first got into Instantly, I used to watch it and I was like, I wonder if this guy owns Instantly. I look him up. Sure enough, he doesn't. And I'm like, okay, this goes back to the whole humility aspect of the founders of Instantly. But it's like, this guy is like the face of the YouTube channel for you guys. Doesn't own the company. I'm sure there's some sort of arrangement, obviously. But at the same time, it's like, this guy's getting credit for a lot of the insights that are delivered on the Instantly channel. Yep. The founders are still just behind the scenes building. Yeah, and I think that's so cool. And I want to know, has that been a massive growth lever for you guys too? Because I feel like there's a lot of value on that channel.
100%. Like, we really embrace the mindset of building systems. And that is something that we try to cultivate. Like, for example, until very recently, I was managing that BIP team, the account management team on my own. I build it on my own. I train every single one of those guys myself. They are very experienced cold emailers. So when you have like VIP service, you really like talk to someone that is going to solve, like, it has a can-do attitude. So that's what I was looking for. I was looking for people that have a can-do attitude and that really, really understand how Legion works, how cold email works. But at some point, the team started like growing way too big, and it was consuming too much of my time. So the Instantly founders, they were like, you need to delegate this, and you need to like work into this other, or focus your energy into these other projects that we have. So we always have that mindset here on like, okay, it's okay to be involved into something until you build a system for it, and then we just delegate it to other people that can operate it. And that has been, I think, the biggest reason why we have scaled so much. The founders, they used to do our YouTube videos. So we have like more than 1,000 videos on our YouTube channel. And if you look at very early videos, you will see the Instantly founders doing those. Then I did a bit of those myself. And then we started hiring like YouTube. I mean, I still do lives myself because we still like to, keep that kind of like spirit on the channel a little bit. Austin is a great guy, by the way. So it's also because of time. We don't want to abuse of his goodwill, but the whole, like, it's not just the YouTube, the way we manage our YouTube channel, but like all of our marketing channels, they're managed very, very similarly. Like we try to build a system. We try to confirm that that channel works. And once we confirm that works and we have a system and we know exactly what works, we try to replicate it with someone else. It's never going to be 100% the same, right? Sometimes those people that you bring in, could be agencies, could be whatever it is, they're going to bring some stuff of their own. And it could be like great things, things you never thought about. Like Austin, the way he films videos for us on YouTube channel, he has his own vibe and his own energy that we really like about him.
He's great at it. He's honestly great at it.
We let him do his own thing. So we actually don't manipulate the scripts or the way he says things too much. We kind of give him like an overall idea and we do the editing. But when it comes to like the actual content, he has full control over that. And yeah, he's been crushing it. He's been great. Great guy. I've been working with him already for a while. And we just trust people. Like look, I would like to summarize all of this with we are here for the long-term game. So working with us is not easy in terms of, at the beginning, we're kind of very detail-oriented without micromanaging people, but we have like high expectations. But that's only because we want to work with people long-term. So when someone works with us, could be an agency, could be anything, we'll stick with them for like the years to come, right? So anything we build is like for the long-term game.
And I can tell you, as a power user, I feel that. And I really appreciate that. And it makes me feel like we're getting what we're paying for, It's like, it's one of those things, every single time there's an issue, and it's inevitable, there will be issues, right?
Yep.
There's no perfect product.
There is no perfect platform.
Yeah. There's no perfect platform, but every time there's an issue, it's addressed immediately. I message you guys in Slack. I hear back from Talha, Talha's a friend at this point. He's an awesome guy. And he helps us out immediately. The problem is always figured out. He'll get into the weeds and actually help us. He won't just say like, have you tried this support guide? Have you looked at this article that we published online? Have you looked at this? He'll get in there and he'll actually diagnose the problem and he'll help us fix it immediately. And you guys help everyone on our team too. It's not just me sending you guys messages, right? We actually have a team, and our team will message you guys and they get treated with the same respect that I would. And that goes a long way. And we feel it. So you guys are definitely holding true to that.
Yeah, I'm very happy to hear that. Yeah, that's definitely the goal. So
that is awesome. The other thing I wanted to ask you about quickly is, so obviously you've been using Austin to help you grow YouTube. Obviously there's time constraints. He's done a phenomenal job with that. You also do things like having these agency owners on. In fact, I'm doing it myself. But to do these Q&As and things like that and account takeovers, you do these founder stories. Mohammed, who owns that video agency, he reached out to me and wants to do a founder story on me, for example. And you guys did that one on Xavier Caffrey. I've seen you do stuff with Eric Nowoslawski. I've seen you do stuff with a lot of these people. And I want to know what kind of role that's played in your growth as well. And how, I guess, empowering your power users to spread the word about Instantly has made a difference in the growth of the business.
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, we try to create win-win scenarios. So we know that if we help people grow their business with a better product, and then they come and tell us about their success story, and then we give them exposure, they're going to get more clients. The brand is going to grow. They're going to say nice things about us. So it just creates this really nice kindness loop where you're always like helping people that are willing to help you, and you're all the time like helping each other. So most of the people we had good terms with that are like power users, we have created this sort of like kindness loop. And yeah, I mean, what we're trying to achieve is have success stories that really reflect good outcomes for people. Like we had situations like this in the past where people were not getting results and they have been very frustrated, and most of the time it's because they don't know what they're doing. Like we had people like, I don't know, we had like a while ago a user buying like thousands of email accounts and spending like thousands of dollars with us, and was like furious because he was not getting like results, but he was doing everything wrong you can think of about cold email. And by the way, anyone listen to this and on that same thought process, just work with Alex or Ali or with any other agency, but don't do it on your own, right? Because it's very likely you're going to fail at that scale, right? So that happened, and some people, they just watch a few YouTube videos and they're like, oh yeah, I can send like millions of emails per month. Like, of course I can, but yeah, it's not that easy. So we usually try to make sure that people understand that cold email works, of course, by having these founder stories and everything, but also that they realize that it takes a lot of work to get where those people are. And just like in that case that I just shared with you, that anyone listen to or watching our content, if like they kind of like evaluate whether it's worth what is more precious for them, their money or their time, right? And many times we have people that they have the money and they don't have the time, and I think in most of those cases they should work with an agency. But if you have the time and you have very little money, then yeah, go on and make sure you really, really understand how cold email works, right? So I think that's the main reason why we do those kind of like agency partner stories and stuff like that. It's not because it's going to benefit us or going to benefit you, but I think it's just going to benefit the clients at the end of the day.
Smart. I love it.
Yep.
Well, I know we're at time, but Felipe, this has been awesome, man. I was super excited when you agreed to come on the podcast. Ali and I talk about your growth all the time and how impressive of a company Instantly is, and how much of a role model it is for bootstrap SaaS companies in 2025. There's not many companies that have achieved what you guys have and done it with so much grace and so much humility. So really appreciate you coming on. Means a lot to us, and expect a lot more workspaces being created from the Understory team.
Yeah, no, really appreciate once again your trust. Everything you do for us. Once again, like I think on behalf of the Instantly community, like every time I see your content, your LinkedIn posts or anything, like you definitely deliver value. I read a lot of LinkedIn content, and I can see when something is written by a ghostwriter or a VA, because I've saw it on other posts, so it's literally a copy paste. But I can tell when you write stuff like you either are writing yourself or you have like one of the best ghostwriters in the market.
We write everything ourselves.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good. So whoever watching or listening to this, follow these guys on LinkedIn. They're awesome. So yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, we've made a pact to never use ghostwriters or never write with AI. Ali and I write all of our own content. So does our team.
Yeah, nothing wrong with ghostwriters, but yeah, you can.
No, there's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with it, but that's our style.
Yeah, awesome.
Cool. Well, thank you, Felipe.
Thank you, guys.